Welcome to day 4 of the 10 by 10 by 10 challenge, or 10 appointments from 10 missed calls in just 10 days. So far, you've set up your AI receptionist. You've learned how to read phone calls, right? When they come in, make edits. And then on day 3, you learned about a couple of the different settings, right? And so every day we're calling it, we're testing it, we're making changes, we're getting team members to edit it, and everything like that. So today, our numbers of edits and tests should be pretty high and climbing, right? And today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually set up your calendar into the system, okay? So there are two main things that we need to do with this. The first is that we need to go in and connect Local Business Pro to your calendar, right? If that's Google Calendar, maybe you're using a different CRM like PestPack or Jobber or Service Monster or HubSpot. We need to make sure that we at Local Business Pro can read that calendar so we don't have double bookings. Then the next thing is we go to those services and we attach a calendar to an individual service, right? And this allows you to do things like, let's say that you're a nail technician. You probably have people, right? Especially if you're a hairdresser as well or barber, is you have stations, and each one of those stations can have one person on it at a time, right? So on your services, you may have set it up that instead of like manicures, pedicures as an individual service, but you actually have the technician, right? Or the barber there. And so it'd be like James, Jessica as the services. And then inside of the service details, you add what they do and everything like that. That makes a lot of sense because you would want one calendar for Jessica and one calendar for Rob or whoever, right? And that way, when they book, it's on their individual calendar. It's easy to know who takes it and who doesn't. On the other side of it, let's say that you're a pest control company and you have a lot of trucks going out, then you could write your services per truck, right? Or just your services and then add in there the calendar of what truck that's going to go to, right? So that kind of gives you an idea of how we're going to set this up. Okay, let's dive in. First, what you're going to do inside of Local Business Pro, once you're logged in, you're going to go over to settings and then integrations up top. Now, we are constantly adding to this list, right? There's going to be more and more integrations. So if you don't see your integration here, we've got a lot of ways to work around it and get it to where you're successful. But why deal with workarounds, right? Now, there is it seems like it's endless list of small business CRMs. If you're a veterinarian, you have 10 or 20 different veterinarian softwares. If you're pest control, HVAC, roofer, nail salon, barber, right? The list goes on and on. So we are always going to be building integrations and looking at ways we can make it easier for you guys. So if you see something that's not on this list, reach out. We want to help. We want to go in there and build out a new integration for you, right? So at time of filming, I only have a couple turned on in my account. So there's only Go High Level, PestPack, and Metapixel. So the first thing that you're going to do is you've got to set it up here. You don't see it, reach out, and we'll see if we can get an integration for you built really quickly, or if we have a workaround, they'll make it so that your AI receptionist can schedule to the calendars that you want, okay? So on this, what you're gonna do is click on connect and go to next, and each of these integrations are gonna have their own set of instructions on how to set it up. It'd be crazy if I went through all of them on this video. We'd be here for hours, right? So on PestPack, for example, it says like open up your PestPack account, go to settings and API, copy the API credentials, paste those below, and then click verify, right? And so you can see that once we authenticate, then we go into preferences and then we assign. So some of our integrations require you to do things like set up your routes, right? And maybe it's not a full calendar, but it's a route, which is similar to a calendar, but instead of people coming to you or hopping on a Zoom call, you're moving around in your truck, right? So each integration has their own kind of set of instructions. We're gonna pull that in, get that connected, and then after that's done, and you can see right now we have our Go High Level calendar set, is we're gonna go into AI Logic. And from AI Logic, I'm gonna go to my services, right? Everything we wanna deal with AI and how the receptionist thinks, AI Logic. Now I'm going to click on the Services tab. It's going to slide open, and I'm going to scroll down all the way to where I can see Connect with a Calendar. Now, if you guys haven't done this yet, it's going to say no calendar, just general time slots. And then your calendars from the CRM or the calendar that you connected should show up here. So if for whatever reason it's not, and it's not showing up, then what we're going to do is you scroll up and you got to go back to that integration. So I'm going to go to settings, and then I'm going to go to integrations, and then I'm going to click these three little dots in the top corner, and I'm going to click on resync or edit preferences. And what that's going to do is reconnect and say, hey, do we got everything? You know, there's no new calendars that were created, and it's going to pull them in. Okay, so we're going to go over to services, open up this, and there it is, connected to general. We're good to go. And now if you have a CRM where you can't just do a calendar, but you need to actually, to get on the calendar in your CRM, you need to actually associate a service with it. There will be a second tab right below Connect with a Calendar that says what service this relates to inside of your CRM. So for PestPack, right? PestPack is a pest control software. I would have different settings in there so that my team is going in there and signing people's account that has billing, reoccurring services, all of that set up. And I would add it to this slide out. And I would just make sure that works for Ant Control, right? So that's how I get my calendars set up and synced. Make sure you hit save once you're done with this down there at the bottom. And what that's going to do is now every time that your AI receptionist is going to get a phone call or a chat bot, it's going to actually look at that calendar in your CRM and say, hey, do we have any appointments? And they'll say, okay, this time slot from 2 to 3 is taken, from 5 to 6 is open though. Okay, let's book from 5 to 6. It uses that time, books it, and then after the phone call's over, our software is going to pick up the phone, call your CRM or your calendar, and say, hey, we got a new appointment from 5 to 6, right? And it's going to go in there. Now, you got to think about timing, right? A phone call is very, very quick, and we don't want the AI to have to call your software, your calendar, and wait for your software to respond and say, here is our appointments, right? Because if you're a large business, that can take 2 to 3 minutes for it to sync. So every single time that someone's calling, it's taking 2 to 3 minutes to sync. It's a bad experience for that caller. So the way we got around it is that we actually will call your software, right? And I say call because it's technical, but imagine literally I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling your calendar and I'm like, hey, any new appointments? And your calendar, your software will tell us, yeah, we got a new appointment here and here and here. And so we grab that information and we do it periodically. Sometimes it's once a day, sometimes every 15 minutes, depends on the integration and kind of what those rules are that the integration has set up, right? And so we go through those and we update our calendar system in our software. And so that way, when our AI receptionist is talking to a real customer, it doesn't have to wait to talk to HubSpot or PestPack or whatever that integration is. It can just look up in our system, find an open slot, and book the appointment. Now, 99.9% of the time, this is a fantastic customer experience because it allows a very, very quick answer and booking for the AI, while also reducing the amount of times that our softwares are talking, which is what integration providers like HubSpot and stuff, they really like that. And but there is a small chance, let's say that we're updating our system every 15 minutes, we're resyncing every 15 minutes. What if an appointment happens during that 15 minutes and our AI doesn't know about it, and we try to book an appointment that we think is available but is actually not available because it happened during those, in between those 15-minute time slots, right? What's going to happen is that if your calendar allows for a double booking, it's going to do a double booking. If it doesn't allow for a double booking, what's going to happen is that we're going to send you an email saying, hey, we tried to book for this appointment, but there was an issue. And so you'll get the call transcript, you'll have everything in your CRM with the conversations, and you'll get an email saying that there was an appointment that tried to get booked that didn't make it to your calendar. And not only that, inside of Local Business Pro on this notifications tab, we'll actually throw a bell icon that's nice and notifying you that you got to check it out. And then there'll be a notification right here on this notification slide out that will tell you, hey, we tried to book an appointment for this user and we couldn't, right? And so oftentimes what you have to do is see if you can double book and it's okay, or if you got to call that customer back and adjust the times. Now, again, 99.9% of the time, everything works great. We've had literally tens of thousands of conversations go through our platform, and I think it's only happened one time that I can count of, right? So it's really rare, but I do want to let you guys know that if that does break, that's how we fix it, right? And that allows us to provide an amazing experience to your guys' customers that's quick and fast, while also making sure that you guys don't suffer from a customer being like, wait, I thought my appointment was at 9 a.m., but you guys are with another customer, and make it a little awkward, right? So awesome. That's how we set up your calendar. 2 things: connect it in the integrations, connect it on each individual service. When you do that, call your AI, okay? For purposes, our test bot over here in the corner that you're using in the browser call does not work with integrations. So we're not going to actually send those to your, HubSpot or whatever, because we don't want to take up an appointment time slot when it is a test. So call it on the phone, test it out, and what you're going to see is after that phone call happens, it takes about 5 minutes between our systems to sync and make that show up on that external ID, right? That external integration on the calendar, okay? So call it, test it, make sure you're testing your bot again, right? We just added appointments into this. This is a new variable. You guys know how to edit it and change it. You know how it's going to work with your team. Your team should be on board now, especially after day 3, where we have that worksheet. We talk to them, so they should be testing it with you, and we should be good to go. Okay, guys, day 5 is tomorrow. We're going to actually hook up the phone to our customers and launch our chat widget on the website. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.